Good morning, guys and gals. Paul here. Video of the day. I had a lot of people ask me questions lately. My video on why we drink, got a lot of attention and got a lot of questions, and I've actually had a friend of my sister's whose husband is a heavy drinker. I don't know if he's alcoholic. I can't pronounce anybody alcoholic, but he's a heavy drinker. And she asked me these questions because she drinks too a little bit. And she just, like, the question was like, why does he have to drink so much, And when I put that last video out, I even had alcoholics and addicts say to me, well, we drink because we don't want to feel, right? And we drink to escape, and we drink to numb ourselves. And these things are true. These things are true. This is the reason we pick up the first drink. But like Dr. Silkworth said, a lot of doctors thought the problem was in the mind, a lot of doctors thought the problem was in the body. But Dr. Silkworth figured out that there was something wrong with the mind and the body, that there was more just going on than that smitten urge that drove us to drink because of that restless, irritable discontent. So the problem is the statement is, step one is the problem. And the statement is we are powerless over alcohol and our lives have become unmanageable. And we talk about why we're powerless over alcohol. But what I haven't really discussed much is, like, we talked about the obsession, we talked about why we take the first drink, but we don't talk much about the allergy. And one of the reasons that the book talks about it a bit, the 12 and 12 talks about it a bit. I'll read something here in a second that I noticed the doctor said, but we can't do anything about the allergy. I still have the allergy today, and I haven't drank in 19 years, and I still have the allergy today. If I take a drink right now, I'm going to crave another drink, But I no longer require a drink. I no longer have the obsession to take that first drink that would set in the cycle of a phenomenon of craving, So we talk a lot about the obsession, but we don't talk about the allergy. And a lot of people ask me why, and it's mainly the non-alcoholics ask me, why is it that he can't stop at like 3 drinks or 2 glasses of wine or whatever? And the doctors and the scientists and the specialists, they figured it out years ago after the book was written, but they figured it out. But one thing that the 12 and 12 does say, and this is I think it came up by the doctors. No, our sponsors says our sponsors declared that we were the victims of a mental obsession so subtly powerful that no amount of human willpower could break it. There was, they said, no such thing as a personal conquest of this compulsion by the unaided will, relentlessly deepening our dilemma. Our sponsors pointed out our increasing sensitivity to alcohol. It's an allergy, okay? They called it. The tyrant alcohol wielded a double-edged sword over us. First, we were smitten by an insane urge, okay, that's the obsession, that condemned us to go on drinking, and then by an allergy of the body that ensured we would ultimately destroy ourselves in the process. Few indeed were those who so assailed had ever won through in single-handed battle, okay? So we talk a lot about step one. We talk a lot about the obsession. But I took some notes because I'm not an expert at this. But I did some research, and basically what happens is an allergy to anything, and an allergy to food or alcohol or whatever is all an allergy is. It's an abnormal reaction. Okay, I have an abnormal, like 1 out of 10 people in the world have an abnormal reaction to allergy. We don't metabolize alcohol like 9 out of 10 of the people, like we call them normal people because there's 9 out of 10 of them. So we have this abnormal reaction which causes a phenomenon of craving, an allergy, and they figured out years ago, and I wrote a few things down here because I'll probably forget, but they figured out years ago that normal people have the proper quality, the chemistry, the quantity and qualities of enzymes to metabolize alcohol, okay? And so what happens is, and I wrote it down here, it's like alcohol is a poison, okay? Alcohol is a drug. It's the oldest drug known to man, and it's a toxic poison. If you put enough of it in your body, you'll die. So the body knows that. So for a normal person, they put in alcohol, okay, and then the body breaks it down to acetaldehyde, diacetic acid, and acetone. And then from there, it goes into water, sugar, and carbon dioxide. And the water's passed off by the body, and the sugar's stored as energy and burnt off by the body. And the carbon dioxide is passed off through the lungs, right? So that's a normal reaction. It breaks down that poison into those three separate parts, and it takes about an hour. It takes about an hour to metabolize one ounce of alcohol. But the alcoholic, see, we don't have the proper chemistry. We don't have the proper enzymes, quality or quantity of enzymes to metabolize alcohol like a normal person. So as far as we put the alcohol into our system, okay? And as far as we get to the acetaldehyde, diacetic acid, and the acetone level. And that's as far as we go. We can't break it down any further than that. And that acetone will go to the brain, okay? And it creates a craving, okay? There's a craving that occurs. And the more we drink, the more we crave. Like I will crave a fourth. So I'm not really, once I start drinking, I'm not really drinking to escape anymore. I'm not really drinking to numb myself anymore. I'm drinking to overcome a craving, a phenomenon of craving that they call an allergy. And the allergy is there. We have that allergy because we have an abnormal reaction to alcohol because we don't have the proper quality or quantities of enzymes or chemistry to metabolize alcohol. So as far as we get down to the, the acetic acid, acetaldehyde, and the acetone. And the acetone level is what creates that craving for more alcohol, right? So what happens is we take that first drink, and then normal people will get a little dizzy. They'll get a little feeling like they're out of control, or feel a little dizzy or whatever. But an alcoholic, he gets more of a sense of like being in control. And we don't get dizzy. If we get dizzy, we put another one down there real quick and we'll solve that problem. But so a normal person has a different reaction because alcohol is a poison. And our reaction is we get this sense of in control. We get this sense of power. We feel more normal. We don't feel dizzy at all. As a matter of fact, we feel healthier. We feel less fearful. We feel less anxious. We feel less restless, irritable, discontent, So because of this chemistry and because of these enzymes, we can't metabolize alcohol fully right down to the water and the carbohydrate and the sugar and the and what was it? I don't even know what the third one was, but it was carbon dioxide. So we don't have the chemistry to go that far. So we end up with this phenomenon of craving. So we're not just drinking. We're not just drinking because we're weak. We're not drinking because we're sinful. And we're not even drinking to escape anymore. The only thing we're drinking now is we're drinking to overcome a craving that is created by the lack of chemistry that metabolizes alcohol. Now, you say, well, if you're allergic to alcohol and you get a craving every time you drink, and you crave the fourth drink more than you crave the third drink, and you crave the fifth drink more than you crave the fourth drink, then just don't drink. Okay? So I found out I was as bad as quitting drinking as I was as drinking. And so what happens is now we're going to talk about the obsession. So we're not going to talk about it too much, but we get now we're sober. We realize we can't drink. Okay, we go through that well-known spree that we talked about. We're restless, irritable, discontent. We succumb to the desire again. We go through a well-known spree, emerge remorseful to never take a drink again, and we really mean it, right? And it says this is repeated over and over again, and unless the person can experience an entire psychic change, there's very little hope for his recovery. Because another thing, the two things that make us powerless over alcohol is that we have an obsession of the mind, the allergy of the body. So now we know where the allergy of the body comes from. Science has figured out that we don't metabolize alcohol like normal people. We have an allergy, which is an abnormal reaction to alcohol. Okay, the obsession comes from alcohol does something for us. Okay, when we're restless, irritable, discontent, when we're resentful, when we're lonely, when we don't want to feel, when we want to be numb, when we're in fear, when we're in self-pity, alcohol does something for us. It takes that away. It worked in the beginning. It worked up until it stopped working. you know, and so the obsession is the reason that we take that first drink, because we're restless, irritable, and discontent. But the drinks that we take after that, we don't keep drinking because we're restless, irritable. We'll get to a point where we've had enough to drink, but I've never ever had enough to drink. Normal people, when they drink, they get all they want. I have never had enough to drink. I've had too much, but I have never had enough. I remember passing out after drinking, waking up and going to the fridge and grabbing another drink. You know, that was the phenomenon of craving. I wasn't drinking to escape some mental torment. I was drinking to overcome a craving, you know. So we can't do anything about that craving. The book says that science may someday accomplish this, turn an alcoholic into a normal drinker. Science may someday accomplish this, but it hasn't done so yet. And people at the rehabs used to say, "Come on, science," you know. So they focus on the obsession in the book. They focus on the spiritual malady, what makes us restless, irritable, discontent, because we really can't do anything about the allergy. But if you got an allergy, if you got a disease, you got to know. If I didn't know, like I used to say, and I still say it, you know, if I could just not drink no matter what, like, you know, I wouldn't need to go to AA. And nowhere in the book does it say do not drink, and that's true. But also, if I don't know that I have an allergy to alcohol, if I don't understand that I crave the fourth one more than I crave the third one, and I can't stop because of an allergy, I might take a drink right now, for all I know. So I have to know that I have this disease and what it is. I have to know that I can't take one drink. But that alone will not keep me sober. What's going to keep me sober is to practice spiritual principles that will lift that obsession. And I'll no longer have to take that first drink, okay, that will set off that phenomenon of craving, that allergy. So it's a twofold disease. And a lot of people ask me, like, why does my husband drink so much? Why can't he just stop? And that's the reason. The reason is it's a chemical reason. Now, that doesn't mean we're letting people off the hook. Now that we know we're an alcoholic, now that I know what an alcoholic is and I am one, it's my responsibility to do what it takes, you know, to solve the problem. The first step is the problem, right? The second step is the solution. The problem is powerless, the solution is power. And how we find that power is steps 3 through 12. You know, steps 3, that's the solution to alcoholism. And if I know I'm an alcoholic and I don't do these things to stay sober, shame on me. You know, it's my responsibility. It's just like a diabetic. He doesn't have enough insulin to break down sugar, and if he doesn't take his medicine or insulin or whatever they do, you know, shame on him. You know, we got to take our medicine. You know, and our medicine is what we talked about yesterday, like the triangle. You know, recovery, unity, and service. So that's why we drink. That's why we take the first drink, and the allergy is why we just drink too much every time. We have a phenomenon of craving that you know, many years later after the book was written, the doctors and scientists figured out. You know, they looked at the chemistry of it all, and it's a twofold. It centers in the mind, but it's also in the body, and we got to know that we have both. Hopefully that helps somebody that has the question of why we drink so much. I think I'll even name this video, "Why does the alcoholic drink so much?" You know, and you know, according to these scientists and doctors, and this is the theory that they came up with, you know, or the evidence that they came up with. So anyway, everybody have a good day. It's a long video. Sorry about that. Everybody have a good day, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. And don't forget to like the video if you like it, and subscribe if you didn't subscribe yet. Thanks. Talk to y'all tomorrow.